found dead animals in the freezer, dead animals buried in the backyard.
Hundreds of abused Chihuahuas now await their fate in county shelters. One woman rallies to set them free.
This is a life or death situation for these Chihuahuas.
On a warm fall afternoon, officers from Los Angeles Animal Control had come across a scene unlike any they'd encountered before.
We discovered the animals in very inhumane conditions. The feces and urine were 2 to 3 inches thick in the home. We found animals that were dead or dying. And we realized that we had to remove the animals immediately for their own safety and well-being.
The dogs, hundreds of Chihuahuas, belong to an unlicensed breeder with a history of run-ins with animal control.
The animals were very aggressive when we found them, and they were pretty much feral, which means unsocialized animals. We saw a lot of aggression. Every one of my officers was bitten. Our veterinarian was chased around the room by one of the dogs. But we probably had about 20 people working out at that facility, capturing the animals, identifying them, photographing them, putting them in the trucks, driving them to our Baldwin Park shelter. We initially rescued 240 dogs. Of those 240, some had to be humanely euthanized right away for their own safety.
The story of a mongrel herd of dogs confiscated by the city attracted news reports from the scene.
I heard about the Baldwin Park Chihuahuas the day that they were confiscated.
Kimmy Peck runs an animal rescue shelter in Los Angeles.
I was pretty shocked and I was pretty sad. I wanted to help immediately. I wanted to do anything I could to help them.
And the dogs needed all the help they could get. Behavioral tests conducted by animal control officers showed that only a small number of the dogs were suitable for adoption. The rest were deemed too aggressive to ever be placed in a home.
We knew that they had been severely inbred, that they had had little to no socialization, and because of that, most of these animals could not be safely placed as pets into people's homes.
The dogs' behavioral problems left animal control with hard choices.
If there's no qualified behavior group or trainer or somebody who could work with these animals and give them the sort of behavior modification that they need, the most suitable and humane option for these animals is euthanasia. On the news.
Quickly responding to the desperate situation, Kimmy set her rescue mission in progress. Her first step was getting to the shelter and getting involved.
They're all in one large building in runs. There are about 5 in each run. They're facing each other. When I walked into the building, I was so overwhelmed by the number of them and the ear-deafening barking from them that I actually had to turn around and walk out. I made it about a quarter of the way into the building, and I just broke into tears and had to turn around and leave. But I knew I had to go back and help, but it was just overwhelming. I never saw anything like that, and we have a lot of Chihuahuas at our kennel that we've rescued, but there was just something so tragic and hopeless about them when I first walked in. And at that time, we had no idea how we were going to help them. We just knew we had to. There are about 177 Chihuahuas left at the Baldwin Park shelter that have survived since they were confiscated.
In court, the original owner of the dogs forfeited custody, so animal control petitioned the court for permission to release the Chihuahuas from the county shelters.
Animals as property are not like animals as property for if you seize drugs or stolen diamond necklaces or TV sets. You can't sit them on a shelf for 2 years while you go through your criminal process. They have to be released. So we were trying to do what was in the very best interest of the animals, which was getting them released.
Releasing the dogs from the county would mean the agency could either place the dogs in homes or euthanize them if suitable homes could not be found.
It's going to be a big fight with the county to try and save these Chihuahuas because they are adamant about euthanizing them. They believe that they are too aggressive and inbred to ever be adoptable, but we don't agree with them. I know these dogs can be saved. I know they can be sitting in people's laps watching TV and licking them.
With the dog's fate resting in the court's hands, Peck organizes a candlelight vigil to garner support for her cause.
We're hoping to have at least 177 people, and we're asking each person to light a candle for each one of the dogs that we're hoping can be saved. The judge will be ruling, and each dog is going to be represented there. I fantasize seeing these Chihuahuas on people's laps, watching TV, traveling, playing in the dog parks, and living normal, happy Chihuahua mixed lives.
But to make her fantasy come true, Peck must first convince animal control agents that she'll be able to rehabilitate and place the dogs in suitable homes. Then a judge must release the dogs to animal control, who will in turn release the dogs to Peck. To bolster her contention that even the most aggressive dogs can be domesticated, Peck seeks the help of famed animal behaviorist and talk show host Warren Eckstein.
Are you being hustled by your husky? Is your Persian causing you panic attacks? Does your minor bird have major problems? Well, if you love animals, care about wildlife and the environment, and want to learn how to really have a conversation with your pet, stay tuned because once again... The first I heard of it was someone calling me up, mentioning to me that there were 200 Chihuahuas that had been evaluated at the shelter, and the behaviorist said that out of the 200, at least 180 or 190 had to be killed. Having been in rescue work and animal behavior for my entire life, right off the bat, I knew something sounded very, very wrong. Kimmy Peck had called me. I went down to the shelter and evaluated these dogs and kind of spoke to the other behaviorists and saw what type of evaluation they were doing. So I got down on my hands and knees and I stuck my hands in the cages, and some of them showed a little aggressive behavior. Yeah, they nipped me and bit me up, and others licked my hands. The bottom line was I knew that every one of these dogs away from that situation could ultimately be rehabilitated and live in a good, healthy, normal home.
Although animal control still had doubts about many of the dogs, Eckstein's prodding convinced agents to turn the dogs over to Peck if and when a judge released the dogs to the county. The back-and-forth legal action between the former owner and the county bounced the case in and out of court. After keeping the dogs and Kimmy waiting 9 long, agonizing months, the judge finally handed down a decision.
We won! We won! We won! I'm so excited. I can't believe it. We won. After 4 times here, we won. The judge compared the dogs to abused children, and when we heard her say that, we knew we were going to win.
The dogs will go to various rescue groups that have been organized by Kimmy Peck from Chihuahua Rescue. We have only worked with Kimmy Peck. She has accepted responsibility for these animals and their behavior problems. I think some of the dogs can be rehabilitated and some can't, and it'll only be time before we know for sure. I think some of the dogs will take 6 months before you know. I think some of the people doing the rehabilitation really want everyone to believe that every single one of them is going to be saved. And I wish that were true, and I hope that it will be. There are things you can do to minimize and mitigate what's happened to them in the past, but you can't completely erase it either. The judge released the animals, so we're really happy that the dogs can now be placed into the rescue groups and start on their road to rehabilitation.
First 2! Goodbye, sweet! I love baby! Oh my God! First 2 to freedom!
The mass evacuation of Chihuahuas is long awaited and cause for celebration. Kimmy has groups lined up to take these little dogs, provide behavior modification, and prepare them for adoption.
These are your crates, right? These are my crates.
But just as things seem to be going her way, and with more than half the dogs in her possession, Kimmy's plans begin to fall apart.
You've got to be kidding me. That's 40 dogs that they promised. How can they let us down? This is the first day we gave our word that we will take 100 of these dogs out of the Baldwin Park shelter today. And then we have 77 more to get out this week, Tuesday and Wednesday. 3 groups just fell through this morning on our way to the shelter to do this big rescue. So I'm devastated by this. All right, you guys, stop what you're doing. We just lost 3 rescuers. We have 40 dogs that have nowhere to go. I need you guys to call every rescue group on here that does home checks. Who wants to use my phone? Borrow my phone. Janet, Lisa, use my phone.
With their own shelter filled to capacity, Peck seems to be out of options.
We're counting on them. I don't know how other rescuers can let a rescuer down. I don't know what we're gonna do.
The fate of the remaining dogs will depend on Kimmy's persistence and a lot of luck. Fresh off a court victory, rescue organizer Kimmy Peck is now up against a tight deadline to get all of the Chihuahuas out of the city shelter.
I've given my word. They have to be out, no matter what. They have to be. And they all have to have homes. I think we have 4 days to place all these dogs after we're given notification. Otherwise, the shelter can put them down, and that would sort of defeat the whole fight.
At the last moment, 3 groups decided against taking the rescued dogs.
What do you mean they thought we had 2 months to get them released? They knew this was the 4th time we went before the judge.
Leaving Kimmy and her crew scrambling to find homes for these animals.
We're calling everybody. We're calling other rescue organizations. We're calling everybody, but the problem is we've already screened everybody. The only option we're going to have is to board these dogs somewhere, but where do you board 40 dogs? You know, I don't know what to do. I hope a miracle happens, actually. We need another miracle.
Things are looking grim, but just as the situation appears hopeless, a friend picks the perfect time to return a favor.
She had helped me during an evacuation with a fire we had here. So I'm thinking, oh my God, you know, she helped me, now I gotta help her.
Tia Cardello is director of the Villalobos Pit Bull Rescue, an organization which usually handles much larger animals.
Hi. Say hi, Baloo.
This is Bagheera in the jungle. The scariest part was breaking the news to my kennel people that we were going to be taking in 40 Chihuahuas. They weren't overly thrilled about the thought of little 5-pound ankle biters on the property. We've never had anything under 100 pounds here. So I reluctantly said yes. Being that the media dubbed them little mini pit bulls, you know, we kind of felt compelled. It's kind of, okay, our place to take them.
Tia took on 26 of the rescued Chihuahuas, providing shelter, food, and care until they are ready for adoption to family homes.
If we can put, like the kids, we can put 2 or 3 in the bigger
Yeah, there are
cages,
2s
or
and 3s.
There's 2s and 3s, exactly.
And then I can put singles in my smaller cages, so I could take up to
That'd be
20
great.
to maybe 22 in my van.
Timely help also came from longtime friend Nancy Anderson of the Brittany Foundation.
When we heard about the Chihuahua effort going on and how Kimmy and Chihuahua Rescue got involved, we tried to do as much as we could to see, what can we do to help. These dogs were just screaming at the shelter. It was just a horrendous environment for them to be in. Load them in the van. Believe it or not, they were quiet all the way home. Everybody kept saying, oh, I'm not sure I envy you the drive home. But they were wonderful, not a peep. I think they were glad to be out of the shelter. them home. They were a little nervous to start first few days. Started giving them little hot dog treats and getting them to come out. And boy, I'll tell you, there's such a turnaround with some of them. Some of them are still a bit shy, but they're all at different stages of rehabilitation. But we know they will come around because we can see it.
Nancy and the Brittany Foundation helped Kimmy out and took 20 dogs into their rescue. Warren Eckstein has stayed involved every step of the way.
They've all done so much better. The fear is out of their eyes. The panic is out of their eyes. They're not all ready to go home and be adopted at this point, but I would say the majority, within the next month or so, are going to find good homes and have a bed and TV to watch of their own.
One of those beds could be in Warren's own home. The talk show host seemed to form a bond with several of the dogs. For this massive rescue operation, friends and community pulled together to help these dogs at a time when Kimmy needed it most.
It was a miracle. We were saved.
At Chihuahua Rescue, the work isn't done. Kimmy is beginning to reach out for permanent homes for the remaining dogs now in her care. With local media continuing to draw attention to the plight of the Chihuahuas, the once feared dogs begin to be adopted. Kimmy's been busy with interested callers and potential adopters stopping by to meet the Chihuahuas. These fun and lovable dogs are ready for adoption, and today, Kimmy has her first delivery to a woman who became interested in adopting a Chihuahua due to all the media coverage surrounding the rescue.
Okay, little man, you're on your way to your new home. About to meet your new mom. Start your life. Hi, Kimmy. Hi.
How are you?
I've got your baby. I've got your little Cujo here.
Look at him. He's so handsome.
I know. Hi.
Oh my God.
Here's your new mommy.
Hi, sweetheart.
Here's your new mommy.
He's so sweet. Hi, baby. Hi.
He has to get to know you.
He's
Hi,
a good boy.
sweetie.
He's mean.
Yeah, he's very
Cruel.
vicious.
Oh my God.
Give him a kiss on the nose.
Mwah.
Let me kiss him goodbye.
Oh. I got him a collar already.
Oh, good.
With his little name tag on it.
ID tag.
And a St. Francis and
Oh,
St.
good.
Anthony on the other side to bring back
Oh.
lost things so he'll
Oh,
never get
good.
lost.
Great. Can you believe 9 months ago he was going to be put to sleep?
I can't even believe that.
Look
That's
how
so
far he's
wrong.
come. Hi. Mwah. You okay?
As soon as I saw him, I knew that this was my dog. He's such a good boy. He's just got such, he looks like Chewbacca, you know, from Star Wars.
Just so happy I could cry because I get to know that this little dog is going to start his new life. And I hope this for all the other dogs too. I can't deliver each one of those individually, but the ones that I'm going to deliver, this is my reward. This is the payoff for the fight.
Although talk show host Warren Eckstein examined each and every dog, one in particular stole his heart, a Chihuahua named Hanley.
All right, not that I'm excited or anything, but where's my dog, lady?
Oh my God, look who's here.
Hi,
Look at who's
Hanley.
here.
Hi, guy.
He's
Oh,
been
God.
waiting.
He's been waiting.
He's been waiting.
I've been waiting.
all week.
God, you look so good.
Oh, we've been talking about this. I've been telling him for the past week.
I never thought that I would own a little dog, having always had big dogs.
Yeah.
But I think Hanley's kind of, from what I've seen, kind of a big dog in a little dog suit. I think he's got plenty of that big dog attitude, you know? And people say, why did you choose Hanley, Warren? Well, the bottom line is I didn't choose Hanley. Hanley came up to the front of the cage. The other dogs were in the back, put his paws up and said, all right, Warren, I know you're a sucker. I know there's a vacancy at your house at the moment. I'm moving in. So Hanley chose me.
Yeah.
I didn't choose him, and I'm glad he did.
It was meant to be.
A lot of people are giving me credit for saving these animals, and I'm giving credit to Kimmy Peck and all the rescue organizations that rallied around her.
It is the biggest rescue I've ever tried to take on. When I saw all their faces and the desperation and what they have seen and been through, it actually broke my heart, and I knew I had to save them. I had to, no matter what it took, I had to save them. It's the longest 9 months of my life, but the most rewarding. And I hope thousands and thousands of dogs will benefit from this fight, and that the people in the shelters and the people who didn't agree with what I was doing will be swayed a little bit and realize that there is hope with every dog.
Next up on Animal Planet, we're celebrating a new bundle of joy with That's My Baby. Get ready for tender, touching tales of animal babies and their mothers. Whether it's a dog, a horse, or even a black rhino, birth is always the miracle of life, and we've captured it on film. That's My Baby is next, right here on Animal Planet.